Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
All right. This is what I like. Welcome to Bar Talk with Jay. What I want to make sure I tell you about is a company called Dispose. This company right here gets rid of all your disposal needs. That's right. Get rid of that trash out your house. You know, garbage man ain't gonna take so much in that can, okay? They call that a toter.
Okay.
That holds about 90 gallons. You know, there's a lot of stuff in your home. So we got cans that holds up to like 25 cubic yards of debris. If you don't know what that is, give me a call. I'll break that down for you. And then also 30 yards, and you got a 40-yard container as well.
Okay.
Most of the times at a house, I recommend a 30-yard, 40 yards. It's a little bit too tall, too big, more industrial area. But after so many years of experience, I will be able to share a lot of that with you when you give me a call. Because we want to make some things happen for you, make some changes in your life, and make your world cleaner than it is right now.
Right.
That's right, Dispose can do for you. And again, that person that can tell you more about it, that is me, Bar Talk with Jay, and call me up. Now, let's talk about this person next to me that I got in the building. I'm telling you right now, he will change your life. All you gotta do is take a minute and listen to him.
Right.
That's Craftmatic in the building. What's up, Big Baby?
What's up, Smooth Jay?
Man, I'm only smooth because of you, Big Baby.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling like $1 million tonight.
I like hearing that. $1 million. Can I get half?
Like $1 million. I give you a piece.
Oh, yeah, what I'm talking about.
But you can't get half. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't mad.
Yeah, but you can help me make some more. You know, I know we can do that together.
That's how we work together.
Right.
That's how we get the hustle on, right?
Absolutely, bro.
That's how we're going to change the game. And it's not always about you giving me. It's about just giving me a little. I just need a small piece. And we can make that pie all happen.
There you go.
There you
And
understand.
with that, let us introduce ourselves. This is Bar Talk with Jay, and my name is Craftmatic. This is my boy
Smooth
Jay. And we are here to try and liberate your mind, liberate your hearts and souls to become your greatest possibility. And oftentimes we look at being your greatest possibility is how you interact in relationships. We spend a lot of time on this show talking about relationships in an effort to explore what's really happening underneath the surface of relationships. There's a huge dynamic, and Jay and I do a great job of just kind of covering some of the major points that happen so you can get an opportunity to look at yourself in the mirror and in our story, in our opinions, and decide for yourself. Strengthen your relationship skills through just listening to our show. Strengthen your personal skills, your sense of self skills by just listening to our show. This is just a chance to reflect on life and what's really going on in the world. By the way, I have never heard still to this day any programming that talks about such subjects as we do. And I invite you to go back and take a look at our show. We're all over the internet. And I promise you, if you go Bar Talk with Jay, you'll find us on all these social media, you know.
It's just smooth way of getting out of there.
Yeah, we're all over the place, so check us out. But we got a great show lined up for you tonight, and we'd always start the night off with a prayer. So let's go ahead and get it popping.
Man, you already know, man. I'm still trying to get them to donate. So come on, man. You've been doing this such a great job.
Okay,
Such a great
okay.
job.
All right, let's just go before the Lord and say, Heavenly Father, we thank you for all that you are in our life. You are our bread and our butter. You are our promotion. You are our paycheck. You are our supporter, our confidant. You give all that you are to us, and we are just grateful tonight. We thank you for an opportunity for us to discuss some very meaningful things that are happening in our lives and in our minds. And we ask that you would liberate us through this conversation, that it be inspiring, that it be all-intelligent, that it be loving, and that it be something special to each person who's listening to it, whether it be now or 50 years from now, Heavenly Father. And so we ask that your grace and your mercy and your word come into this room and do its good and perfect work. We ask this in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Man, you feeling it? You definitely feeling like $1 million.
I'm feeling like $1 million tonight. Absolutely, Jay.
That's my boy.
Yeah, man. But what the key here for me
What's that, Joe?
is that I'm on fire for life.
You know,
I'm excited about what I'm building, what I'm creating, what I'm doing, and I'm doing what I consider to be my life's work.
okay.
And with God's help, things are just falling into place so lovely. Right? And so, I'm just kind of basking in that, I know there's much hard work to do. Yeah, sometimes when you're climbing the stairwell of success, you got to stand on the ledge and say, whew, look what I did so far. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's just you need a break. Other times you might need to recharge your battery. And you recharge your battery through gratitude and through, looking over your shoulder and say, hey, I am capable of doing this and doing that. And look what I'm about to achieve. So it's about how we talk to ourselves, what it's all about, Jay, you know?
Oh, totally. I mean, before the show, me and you had a sidebar about comments.
Right.
And somebody left a comment that was kind of negative. And like I was telling you, man, back in my earlier days, I would have been more offended.
Right.
But I'm asking for comments. And you got to be able to take the good with the bad.
Right.
And this show right here is not going to be for everybody.
Right.
But the number one thing is we're taking the time to give you something that we really feel like is necessary.
Yeah.
And how you accept it and how you want to digest it, it's going to be totally up to you.
Absolutely.
But our whole thing is coming together with a great program to be able to show you some things that's going to probably enlighten you if this is what you choose to do.
Absolutely.
And if
Absolutely.
you don't, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But, the comment, like I said, is things I don't like you.
Right.
So guess what? It shouldn't take away from whoever doing it just because I don't like it.
Right.
We don't ever think that make me stop.
We're not going to let it steal our energy.
No.
Right? And let me just say this. For those of you who just tuned in, first of all, we got some folks who are with us tonight. They have been with us on several occasions. Michelle and Ruth, Linda, is that Lori, and Julaine. Is that Julaine? I can't read that with my glasses.
Don't feel bad. I can't
Yeah,
see
Sherman
the
just
TV,
checked
right?
in. Thank you folks for being with us tonight. We're just trying to do something positive and glad you could be here. Comment, share your thoughts with us as we go throughout the show, and we'll always try to include and bring them to light. So your presence is important, and we thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and jump into the show. Actually, I got a sidebar. For those of you who are listening to the program in a podcast or obviously at a later date than a live show, this is a 2-hour program. And right now you might be saying to yourself, I ain't got 2 hours to listen to this show. So it's okay. Go ahead and stop the show whenever appropriate, but come back and watch us like a movie. Just like you would go watch any other movie at night, sit down during dinner, maybe after hours, and just listen to the incredible dialogue that happens in this show. You're not going to be able to get it in a 3-minute video because we do some real development and healing work as we talk through these subjects. So it's okay to come back and see us, but please come back and see us and send your friends and family because we got some good things to say. In fact, last week, we talked about arguments. And it was a great show because I had never really, understood or thought about arguments in some of the ways that we discussed them. I mean, it was a fabulous show. I went back and listened to segments 1 through 3 like 3 times, right? Because I'm always listening to content. Right? Mm-hmm. What's the value of the message that's being sent forth or received? And it was just rich. So it read like this: a relationship with no arguments is a relationship with a lot of secrets.
And again, when we went in, we had some fun with it. One of the things you want to look at is, again, you talking about 2 selfish people coming together. So it's going to be a little bit of friction. Mm-hmm. And what we're saying with the arguments is, some people say, I never argue. That's great. You can have a debate, you can do a lot of different things, but if you get your emotions into it, it becomes a little bit more heated and a little bit louder, and that's where argument starts off.
Yeah.
It changes from a debate when you're not listening to me and you're yelling at me.
Right.
Or really just stop listening to me. Right. That's where argument can always start. Right. So one of the things we was trying to say, these things happen, but people just don't address them. They don't even bring them to the forefront. They feel like their relationship is perfect. Nothing ever goes wrong. She'll never yell at me, this, that, the other. Well, I know the real truth is.
We know better. Yeah, we do.
And we need to talk about it because, again, it doesn't make you a bad relationship. It doesn't make that situation a terrible one. It's just one you got to work through. Right. And I don't see nobody else trying to tell you about how to work through these things. Right. Or to say that, hey, this happens, but there's ways to get out of it.
You know what's coming to mind, Jay, is I wonder how many relationships, maybe we can even ask the question, how much love has been lost because people just can't communicate with one another, right? There's been tons and tons of love lost because people just can't effectively communicate. And arguing is a form of communication. We don't think it's obviously the best. We talked about taking a step back and saying strawberries and everybody have their turn to talk. You get 2 minutes, I get 2 minutes, and then you get 2 minutes, and we can do that all night if you want to. But undisturbed dialogue from the person who needs you to hear them is one way to kind of open the doorways of love, so that arguments will now move into debates. They'll move into discussions. We talked about there's debate, good argument, and bad argument, right? And as I thought about it after the show, as you go up the ramp, each one gets a little hotter, a little more fire, a little more friction,
Hey, crap, it kind of reminded me of one person I dated. I don't throw names out there. But they argued with me because they couldn't remember what they was going to say to me. They would never let me finish what I was saying.
Yeah.
They was like, I got to tell you what's on my mind, because if I don't, I'm going to forget.
Right.
So as I'm talking, they just interrupt me and go in.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, is she going crazy?
Right.
And I'll bring it up to them and be like, well, why do you always cut me off?
Right.
You just talk over me.
Yeah.
And they're like, because I won't remember what I got to say.
Listen, and that's important, right? That's why a lot of times people will cut you off, because they don't want you to finish the sentence. They want to deal with what you just said. They want to deal with it right now, and it don't matter what you're about to say. They want to deal with that portion right now. And so they stop listening, and they want answers, or they're gonna start thinking about how they're gonna get back. But forgetting, people's fear of forgetting causes them to interrupt you, right? And so I talked about debating and taking notes, and then when you get your turn to talk, you'll be talking right on the points that you need to talk about in order to get through, right? Jamal, in some way, if you ask me, what he basically said was, it's impossible to have a good relationship without friction. I mean, he said that's just not going to happen. And so we need to understand how to deal with the friction. Arguing is not the best way. It typically is the way that happens after you've tried many other forms of communication. You've tried innuendos, and you've tried to whisper it, and you've tried to sit them down, and you tried to talk it through the mama or through the cousin.
Sarcasm.
Yeah, sarcasm. You done did everything you can do, and the argument happens when you feel like you haven't been heard and understood. That is the greatest human need, to be heard and to be understood. And if you're not being heard and understood, you're going to keep on talking. We talked about bitching.
Woo,
right?
Here we are.
Right? And what bitching really is somebody saying something over and over and over, but they're saying it over and over and over because they don't feel heard and understood. And so you got to go back and look at the show, but we talked briefly about how you can just take that person, maybe take them by the hand, and regurgitate what they just said to you. That's how you make them feel like they were heard and understood. So what you just told me was you didn't like what I did. And what you told me, it hurt your feelings, and it really caused you not to trust me anymore. And you really just like, you don't even know how you're going to come back from this, after what I did to you. What you're saying is you're hurt, and I didn't mean to hurt you. That was not my intention. I apologize if I hurt you. Empathy is so important in any form of communication, right? Understanding with love is so important, because you're never going to get through to anybody. Nobody's going to get through to nobody unless there's some empathy and love going on there. I got to take a step back and say, you know what? This information is coming from my greatest supporter, my greatest loved one. I don't like what they're saying, but it's coming from a credible source.
Yeah, it is.
Let me listen. And even if she ain't right, I still got some things that I could change for her if I'm that vested in this relationship. And it might not be giving her what she wants. It might be I can deal with it a different way and still get great results. But something got to change, right? There's so much to cover here, man. I'm going to go ahead and cut this segment off. But it was a fabulous show, folks, you got to go back and look at it. Again, it's therapeutic. Every couple needs to listen to that show. If you are a couple or you want to be a couple, go back and listen to that show because it'll set your relationship on a new stage of understanding. That's what it did for me in my heart when I listened to it. We're all over the internet. Bar Talk with Jay.
Keep going.
YouTube, Facebook, Spreaker, iTunes, Periscope, Me Too.
What? That's right. Me Too. Keep going.
Black Planet.
My man's got it.
He got me saying
Craigslist.
Yeah.
Offer up. Let go.
Craigslist.
What?
Hey,
We put it on everything.
Listen, you got to be where the people are. And if you're where the people are, then you'll be successful. So I applaud your efforts, Brother Jay. Somebody asked me the other day, well, are you on X, Y, and Z? And I said, well, I don't know. I don't think so. I ain't never heard of that one. He pulled it up on his phone. Oh, yeah, you know. I said, okay, my man Jay got us all over the world.
Everywhere we can
You're doing a great job at that, man. You
try to
really
do
are. You really are. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick set of comments. I'm only going to spend about 2 minutes and then 3 minutes, and then we'll be out. Barbara, who could not be here tonight, thank you so much for our program tonight and our agenda here. You help keep us focused, and we appreciate that. She put together this. The wound is the place where the light enters you. When difficult times come our way, we are not always confident of our success. Although there is a chance to do something, we're not able to give our best. Each new situation is perceived as a threat. And once fear creeps in, the situation worsens until all chances of success disappear. Wow. Now, what she just described was the mindset of a falling man. The mindset of a falling woman. The mindset, falling, I mean, I'm talking about the process of their falling. And so what happens is we make mistakes and we have heartaches and we have failures and we have all kinds of things that happen in our life. And what those things have a tendency to do is to decrease our confidence. They decrease our confidence in ourselves, and when our confidence decreases, our drive decreases. Right? So our emotion is the confidence and the drive is the action. Our confidence and drive decrease. Now, anything that comes around the corner, you're afraid of. Because you don't know if it's going to be more heavyweight or if it's going to be, some more problems. These are the things that cause stress. Those thought processes is really the manifestation of fear. Fear will choke you out. Fear will choke your life. You got to fight through the wounds. You got to clean the wounds, and you have to bind the wounds, and you have to drive forward. We all have scars. We all have scar tissue. We all have been hurt. We all have been without. We all have had these burdens upon our life. It's just the nature of mankind. But you don't stop in your burden. You don't stop in your pain. You don't stop in your troubles. You fight through. You keep your eyes posted to the mountaintop. You keep your eyes lifted on the high watch so that you always can see the good. You can always see the win. You can always see the victory. Never be without your vision. Your vision is the only thing you have. Think about it, man. It's the only thing that you can hang your coat on every single day is your vision. Because if you take a look at life, life ain't giving you what you want. Life don't seem to be operating the way that you need it to be. But you got to take your eyes off of reality and put your eyes in a faith-based mentality and see the light. You got to see the truth. You got to see where you're going. You got to know where you're going. You got to keep that. That is the muscle that'll hold your vertebrae up. Is that muscle that say, I'm going somewhere. I'm going to make it out of this. I'm going to be resilient. I'm going to overcome this. I'm going to get debt free. I'm going to make sure I kick them creditors out my face. I'm going to make sure I fix the past hurts that I've done. Whatever those are, I'm going to make up for being in prison 3 years, 10 years, 20 years. I'm going to make up all of that. Somehow God's going to make up in my life all of those years that I thought I missed out. And he's going to reward me with something greater for what I went through. I'm telling you folks, you got to pick yourself up in life. That's what we're talking about here tonight, man. I get so passionate about these subjects because I see people just leaving their potential on the sidewalk because they've been hurt. And they can't get over the hurt. I've been hurt. And then next year they'll be like, I've been hurt. And then next week they're like, I've been hurt. And they just keep going on talking about being hurt, and they never move on with their life. It's time to grow up and move on. Man, I felt like Dr. King right then, bro.
You should notice I kind of just let you have it because you was on the move.
It's
right
time
there.
to grow up and move on, man.
I felt like you was going to get there without me. I was like, crap,
man,
you're
I'm so
leaving me,
passionate. Man, because I'm telling you, like all of my friends, all of my close friends are doing it big. All of my close friends, I've seen them invest in. You know, my best friend, he met this beautiful lady and he invested in her, and she got a law degree. Now their family is popping off. He already corporate kingpin America, and so they got kids now. They've been growing, they've been building family, they've been doing work. Man, I'm telling you that I've seen the struggles. You know what I mean? I've seen the struggles, but I know what people can do coming from small town USA. I'm from Panama City, Florida. I'm talking about very successful people coming from small town USA. There is nothing that is against you. There's nothing that you can't achieve, man, and I want people to know it, and when they know it, they'll do it.
I agree.
That's what we've been missing, man. We've been missing knowingness, because knowingness will manifest into doingness. And that's what a whole culture, a whole race of people, but a whole humanitarian race of people, but most importantly, the people who have been held back for many years. And that just don't include black folk. There's a lot of folk who've been held back. If you can make it up, God will make it all up for you. So it's time to go ahead and introduce the topic for tonight.
Okay.
And it's a real interesting topic. All right. Goes a little something like this. And then we're going to take a break and come back with more Bar Talk with Jay. You can already see we on fire, but we got to get out of here. Could you have a real interest or a real relationship with someone you've never met?
Oh, Lord. Now, Jay gonna have some fun.
A lot
when
of
we get back to
implications
that.
right there.
But, you know, I really feel like, you know, a lot of this is gonna be off the date sites.
Yeah.
A lot of this comment came from the date sites. So one of the things we want to do is, again, for the Meet Me's and other ones I got out there that's out there watching this, we're gonna try to answer some of these questions because, again, when you look at a profile, you really don't know what you're looking at. But again, you can read into something that could be catfish or not. So we're about to find out. Just stay tuned. We'll be right back. Bar Talk.
More Bar Talk with Jay.
With Jay.
Yeah, man.
With the old school. You half went all the way back on that
That
one.
oldie goldie, man. You know what
I
I'm saying?
see.
Yeah, oldie goldie.
But now that we back, we gotta talk about that person that we don't know how his day was, but you know, he look like him, that's thicky, him, and him the one that's always somewhere else.
Right?
Him on the line. Jamal, how you doing, big baby?
What's happening, fellas? What y'all up to, man?
What's good, man? Boy, you sound alert tonight,
Yeah, don't
man.
Might be a good one.
Well, I'm just in one of them good moves, man.
Okay.
Positive vibe, positive energy.
Okay.
I like
okay,
that.
yeah. We love that, bruh. We absolutely love that.
Feed us some of that energy.
You got something special for us tonight, my friend? What's on your mind, man?
Man, cornballs, male or female. If somebody tell you who they are up front, believe them. Stop trying to change people. You know what I mean? If people walk into a situation telling you who they are, what they looking for, what they not looking for, stop trying to be the one to change them. Because if you try to do that, you will end up with your feelings hurt. You know what I'm saying? If I tell you up front, look, man, I ain't in nothing long term, then don't think you gonna be the one to change it. If I feel like I'm ready to, progress something, I'm gonna tell you. I'm stupid blonde. I'm a blonde man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I tell females, until you tell me exactly what you want, I'm taking it as you just cool with what it is.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying don't speak your mind, but don't go trying to change something if that's not what I'm into or what the other person is into, because all it do is going to push the other person away.
That's
There's going to be a lot of resentment, a lot of build-up. So that's a cornball move, trying to change somebody. Accept what they tell you up front, stop trying to change it.
Yeah. And accepting people is a difficult task, particularly when you're not comfortable with yourself.
I agree. Or if they're
You
not
know?
really being forthcoming and telling you.
Right.
That makes it even more difficult.
Right.
But definitely if a person is on the upfront, been through a couple things, and telling you on the upfront about how they feel and where they want to be, I like to say they might have a little bit more drive about themselves. They've been in some situations, they want to see something in a different way. I would say I will have to listen closely to what they say. Because number one thing is, I don't understand why people feel like they can change anyone.
Yeah.
My whole thing is, if you believe in a person, then believe in what they believe in, and just go with that person.
Right.
But you don't have to feel like you got to change everything.
And so is that need to change people, is that about control? Or is that about only being able to see the world in one way?
Well, it could be a selfishness way. It could be about I want to, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
Not being open-minded and being in control is the exact same thing. By not being able to see a different perspective of your another mindset, well, then you are closed-minded. Closed-minded people want total control in the situation. They want to tell you what time, where it is, when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen.
Right.
That's a lack of responsibility. That's a boring relationship.
Right.
Unless you just want to be something like that, well, then, I mean, that might be your problem.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
alpha males and alpha females just ain't going to, somebody going to have to be a beta.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody going to have to be a submissive, because two dominant personalities is not going to work with one another. You can't lead a person that wants to, I mean, you can't make them follow you. They want to lead.
Right.
And two people leading somewhere is going to end up in the wrong direction.
Yeah, you know, it was an old business term we call shared leadership, where, you know, everybody has the responsibility of building up the team or the company or the family, and it can work because we see, you know, A-type personalities on both male and female make it in marriages. They're probably not always easy, but you know, they can do it too. You know, it can be done too. And I'll be honest with you, man. I really couldn't handle a weak personality in my household. You know, that just wouldn't fit me because, you know, I like to just speak real and talk live, and I don't need nobody too emotionally weak and always thinking that I'm saying this or saying that. I just like to get to the point. And so I need a strong-minded woman like that. And I was raised by a strong-minded woman. My mom was like, you know, hey, say it how it is, and it is what it is. And that's how I grew up, and that's how I learned to communicate, particularly with women. I always enjoyed women who were a little more forward, you know, and not all reserved.
A little aggressive.
A little aggressive.
We had a show about that one.
Yeah. But listen, I don't want to steal thunder, man. Keep talking to us. What you got?
Man, so what's the topic for tonight, though, brother?
All right.
Oh, Lord.
Question is, could you have a real interest or relationship with someone you've never met?
I'm sorry, when you asked that question, the first thing I thought MTV Catfish.
Catfish, yeah.
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 We're
talking about
It's a two-edged sword. Because at some point, you find yourself being more honest with people that you don't know than with people who've known you all your life. Just because there's a level of transparency you can have without the fear of a judgment from a new person, because they're easily to walk away from.
Right.
Some people who've been in your life for a minute, you might not want to tell them everything because it's kind of like, dang, man, I don't want to change how you look at me.
Right.
So,
right.
But at the other end, it's a gamble now. You rolling sevens on this one, but you crap out. That person that's on that picture might not necessarily be that person in real life.
Well, we know
I
that
have
for a fact.
about meeting somebody on the book, and I found that person to be somebody I could talk to. So it's possible, and I ain't gonna knock it.
Right.
But anytime you hit somebody up on Facebook, on Messenger, on Snap or something, that's the gamble you playing. When you slide in a new person DMs, that's the gamble you playing.
Right.
I do like the old school days, being able to walk up and talk to a female. You know, that's how a man really knows if his game tight, is if you can talk to her face to face.
Right. Yeah. Take
a certain level of confidence and slide in the DM off pictures, man. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're exactly right. You know, this conversation is extremely dynamic because so many people are meeting other people and having relationships without ever meeting them, without ever seeing them. And man, I tell you, it is so easy to fall in love with a voice. It's so easy to fall in love with that somebody who will say, hey baby, I hope you had a great day. I hope you have a great night. I'm going to be thinking about you all night. What you doing, da-da-da. You know, somebody you ain't got the pressure of knowing all your world and where you at and be asking a bunch of questions. Y'all just enjoy one another at that simple-minded level relationship. And I think that simple-minded level relationship can turn into love, but you still got to walk through the brick door. The brick door is, when you see them, are they attractive? Or do you like them? You know their mind works right, but you might not like the way they look.
This is what it takes you in this situation though. If you meet somebody on the book, you know what I'm saying, there's a good chance they might not look exactly how they look. So you might want to say, hey, yeah, when I get there, I'm going to have on the black jacket and, you know what I mean, whatever.
Right.
Now, that might not necessarily be the outfit you want to have on. Well, you could say, hey, man, I changed my mind. If there's an ugly duckling, you could just duck out the front like ain't nobody even seen you. Just not answer the call.
Yeah.
Or you could just, play it off. I think it's a weird go about it. You know what I mean? It's just, I will say this. It's a level of confidence you got to have when you talk to a person.
Yes.
I respect sliding in DMs, but a woman is attracted to confidence, and it takes a strong man to be able to walk up to a woman and not just say you're beautiful, but to strike up that conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then from there, your game develops. So I respect it.
Right.
DMs, sliding in the book, whatever, hey. But I tell you, if you about your Mac and if you about your game pimp tight, you ain't got to be a player to do it. But if you got that swag up in you, respect the old school and go have a conversation with somebody face up, though.
Yeah, I like that. And see, this is what's missed, man. This is what's coming to my mind.
What's that?
You know how when you get ready to go talk to that young lady, see, you thinking about her long before she even met you.
Okay.
Maybe a few minutes or 20 minutes, maybe an hour, just trying to wait till the situation come right. You thinking about it like, man, she fly. Like way she keep it on. She don't know you watching her, perhaps.
Right.
You know, and so you start really aspiring to know her even before you meet her, and you can have that relationship start even before you meet her. That doesn't happen on this social media stuff. This is the raw, fundamental, baseline, human need discussion, open the doorway type dialogue, and...
Okay, watch this.
Go ahead.
Boom. Tell me true or false.
What's that?
It's one thing to walk up to her, but you got to get that look from her first. At least at some point before you go take that walk, you got to make eye contact.
Nah, not
If there
necessarily.
ain't no eye contact, you going on blind just...
Listen.
What if a dude does?
Listen, watch this.
I know you say for a heartbeat.
No, man, listen. All you have to do, I'm going to give a little secret right here, right? This to the fellas, right? This is all you got to do. It's real simple. You just have to have enough confidence to walk up and ask for permission to introduce yourself.
Oh,
Just that simple. Excuse me, can I have a moment to introduce myself? And that'll give her just enough time to catch her breath and say, well, of course. Say, hey, my name's Stacy. I was checking you out. You just beautiful. What'd you do? Where you from? And just start talking. It's a simple dialogue. But see, people try to break the ice cold with an old smile or with an old line. They want to bring a line to the table. You don't need all that stuff. All
you know, been out to the club and there's a girl with like 2 or 3 of her homegirls, and they just walking in a packed group together.
Yeah.
And when I say they eye focus is on each other and nothing else, them is not one of them girls am I going to. I don't care how pretty she is.
Right.
Now, when I'm in the club, I could be across and I could see somebody else. Cute. But I need her eyes to give me just a glance, just a something.
Okay.
Because I don't know who she's with.
Right.
I don't know if it's one of them nights where it's girls' night only.
Okay.
I need some type of introduction to let me know it's okay to take that next step.
Right.
Fellas, if you down for rejection, hey, throw it out there every time. Me, I look for certain cheat sheets, okay?
Okay.
I need eye contact.
Okay.
Now, if I get a smile, awesome. I'm giving about 5 minutes after the first time I seen it. I need to see what dude pop up around the corner. You understand?
Right.
More than likely, she got 2 to 3 girls.
You gonna go holler at her with a dude there? Damn.
Why not?
You
if she
cold.
got 2 or 3 girls and she gave me a little eye contact, I'm walking up to her in front of her friends. Excuse me, ladies. Hey, sweetheart. You mind if I get a drink a minute of your time? Can I buy you a drink? Let's chop it up. Or, you know, can I get a dance? You know?
That's so effective.
If I get
too, my
any
friend.
type of if I walk with confidence, and I start that conversation in front of her friends, more than likely there's a chance I could probably bring both girls or 3 to the crib, and I'm taking 1 to the room.
All right.
Listen, now we're talking about having a real interest.
It's a chance they can get it right.
Listen, we are
Dudes
talking.
out here with 2 girlfriends.
Right.
It's a way it happens.
Listen, we are talking tonight about could you have a real interest or a real relationship with someone you've never met. And now we're talking about the approach, right? So yeah, I could have a relationship with somebody I never met. We're talking about the meeting part, but later on we're gonna talk about you know arranged marriages.
So how you slide in the DMs? Then for somebody you ain't never met?
Right.
Well, even with the
How do you
DMs,
go about doing that?
well, think about it. Even with the DMs, and I love the way y'all two gave the approach because again, Craftmatic gave a nice one if she's single, she's by herself.
Right.
And then Jamal gave you one if she with her girlfriends. Because truthfully, back when the club days, how Jamal gave it to you is about how it normally was.
Right.
But now y'all got to remember there's an app and there's datings, and that's why this is all about because they're not with the girlfriends, they're not by themselves. You're looking at a picture. So now it becomes easier to fall in love with a picture or something that they wrote. But the number one thing that I tell you that really grabs my attention, what intrigues me, there's one of the words that you gave me.
Yeah.
Is when a person intrigues me because again, that's more of a chemistry.
Right.
I want a person I can vibe with, and then I see something about it that interests me.
Right.
Now the interest gets me more intrigued because again, they're showing me some things that I like. Not all about showing their body. It's not about the Instagram models. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a nice looking person. I ain't asking about the twerking. I'm just talking about a nice looking person.
Right.
But what's intriguing is how it goes after the sight. What words is being said.
Right.
Are you on a vibe like I'm on a vibe? Are you motivated like I'm motivated? Because see, I have a passion and a purpose.
And listen,
Changes
I'm
everything.
telling you that's a nail on the head right there. That intrigue can lead you into a 30-year marriage. Woo. Right? It can pop. Yeah.
On what?
Say what?
On what? I will say this. Bones, you made it right.
You cutting out.
The conversation.
You cutting out on us.
Hold on. Can we get him back?
I
still there?
think we
I
just
lost him.
I think we just lost him. Listen, it's time. It is.
As opposed to being online. My thing is this though.
There you go. Trying to get him back.
Hey, Jamal. Jamal, you're cutting out, and it's time for us to go to break. Can you hold and come back with us?
I'm a host, man.
All right. Okay, that's what's up. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back for more Bar Talk with Jay.
Back, yeah, Bar Talk with Jay is gonna bring my man on that we don't know how his day went. Hopefully it went real good because we got to find out real quick as we got Jeffrey in the building on the phone. Jeffrey, how you doing, big baby?
Brother Jay, Brother Craft, how's it going, sir?
Man, it's good over here.
Yeah, we doing pretty good over here, man. Always excited about the good Reverend Dr. Jeffrey.
Say it again.
Glad you could be with us tonight, man. How's life treating you? What's going on?
Man, even though it was a little overcast today, you know, even though the clouds were in the sky much more so than the sun, it still was a pretty good day. But in spite of it being a good day, you know what time it is.
Yes, sir.
It is time for you to close your mouth and listen. You ask me some questions, I give you some answers from a man's point of view. Now, I got one reason for the habitually single woman and one reason for the habitually single man as to why you might be single. But before we get into that, here is my disclaimer.
Okay.
Now, see, what I'm going to talk about right now, how do you listen to the I want you to put your foot up in the shoe. But if it does apply to you, I want you to put both feet in both shoes and walk around in them because you're about to learn something tonight. Ladies, you go first.
we go.
All right, ladies, some of y'all are single simply because you ain't even ready to receive a good man. I need you to understand. See, your energy is so out of whack, it's so out of order that when a man treats you like gold, it doesn't resonate with your vibe because you so used to being treated like aluminum. I need you to understand, ladies, you might think that you want this and you might think you want that when it comes to a good man, but your soul ain't even ready for a good man. Your spirit ain't even deserving of a good man. Your mental complexities aren't up to par about being able to deal with what a good man brings to the table. So what you end up doing is questioning that good man's intention. Girl, he treat me nice, but this is just too good to be true. You doggone right, because you hadn't done the internal work to be able to deserve something so true, so genuine, so valuable right yet. So ladies, my advice to you is that you get some spiritual work going on. You start working on your inside just like you work on them damn degrees y'all got. You do all those things to build yourself up to be worthy to receive that good man. And then he'll walk right into your life. But up until then, your educated ass just gonna be single.
Ouchie, ouchie, woo, woo.
Listen, Jeffrey ain't the only one who did it. You know, we kind of make fun of the most educated person in the whole universe, the black woman, particularly in America. You know, man, I tell you what, that's a profound one, and I'm hoping all ladies will just take ownership of this. That he said, not ready to receive a good man. You don't know what's valuable, perhaps. You got to get some spiritual work done. You got to build up yourself. And how often, you know, we've said it so many times, it's not even funny on this show, how often do we focus on the healing? We don't get enough healing. You got to build yourself up. And sometimes that might just mean being alone for a little while. Making the decision that, hey, I don't want to be with nobody because I'm going to work on myself. That's, you know, word to the wise for some of you ladies. So powerful, Brother Jeffrey. Anything?
I mean, I would say it all day long. And again, remember, just because you're by yourself don't mean you're being healed. There's a lot of times that you're going through and you're suffering and you're not doing anything. You're stagnant.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you're just getting tired of being by yourself.
Yeah.
So you're wanting what you don't even understand what you're about to get.
Right.
That's why you can't hold on to. And I like to say, I've been in that situation where I knew I was divorced. I knew I dated, and I wanted something before I was really ready.
Right.
And it fell apart quickly because, again, I didn't take that time.
Right.
And then when I started taking the time, people try to rush me out of it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
You should have been ready by now. You had all this time. No, I wasted a lot of time fooling myself that I was ready. I was so busy pleasing others, I forgot about myself.
Listen, ladies.
So when I backed up and I started loving myself and started spending more time with me, I started enjoying me, and then it started gravitating more people to me. And next thing I know, everybody, wants you in a relationship. Don't pull me out too quickly.
Listen.
Because I had a lot of wasted time thinking I knew myself and I was just not true to myself. And I'm able to talk about that. And that's why I started this, because again, there's a lot of people like me that's scared to say it.
Yeah.
But
Now listen, Brother Jeffrey was talking to the ladies, and Brother Jay got convicted and started confessing. You know, I appreciate that, man. And
I don't want to just be on one side.
That's
I know
awesome,
he's going
man.
to us next.
With that, we're gonna give it back to you, Brother Jeffrey. I love it.
Go for it.
All right, fellas, don't think I'm letting y'all off the hook.
Uh-oh.
Fellas, you are next. All right, fellas, some of you are single simply because your mouth and your spirit are out of alignment. See, you say things that you haven't even conditioned your body to deliver. You haven't empowered your mind with the gifts of your life's purpose yet, so you walk around in a hollow job, and you got a hollow outlook on everything that you do. You're just getting by just to get by. You don't live with any passion, you don't live with any purpose, and one thing that you don't do is you don't live with priority. The priority being to wake up that sleeping giant that's inside your spirit.
Right.
To wake up that leader that's within you. To wake up that indomitable force that's a part of your soul, that intestinal fortitude that's been passed down from generation to generation. All those things you sleeping on because you playing small, because you getting by, because you think you're doing all right. Well, fellas, here I'm just here to tell you, fellas, that you got to step your game up. If you want to be worthy of the queen, well, damn it, you got to be a king.
Yeah.
And not only do you have to be a king, you got to be a king that has a throne, his own throne, his own kingdom, that you can merge with a queen's kingdom, and you can be the rulers of the kingdom that you see. Everything that your eyes fall upon, you rule. But what you're doing, fellas, is you're still playing small.
Mm-hmm.
You're still settling for that good job
Mm-hmm.
instead of igniting the fire in your spirit.
Yeah.
See, that spirit, that fire, it will guide the woman of your dreams right to you.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of lighting that spirit, you lighting up something else with your boys. And your ass is still single.
I would say that
Ooh, boy.
one did convict me.
Listen, the sword went from left to right on that that one.
I like Jeffrey said, I can't put on them shoes right
Yeah.
there. But, I feel them.
Yeah.
And I like to say, he hit home. And I hope a lot of people heard him, because again, I like to say, I've known some people that was like that, totally.
Yeah.
But they didn't see that in themselves.
Right.
They just knew they was kings, but they ain't had nothing to rule over. Man, they still staying at home.
Right.
But you couldn't tell them they wasn't a man. I'm like, a lot of that was when you take ownership of everything.
Right.
But no, I'm conditioned. And some people are conditioned just to feel like, hey man, I'm above all this.
Yeah.
And I get it. I love the confidence, but sometimes you're overplaying it.
Right.
And you ain't playing in the right position. So and it's nice to be a good friend and put people into a area that they can see themselves.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I can't change anybody.
Right.
But sometimes I gotta bring you over and be like, yo, you're not on path from what you say you want to be. And if I know you, I hear you.
Right.
And I want you to be successful.
Right.
So I'm not ashamed to be able to pull you to the side and be like, you off path.
Yeah.
Because of what you telling me. It's not about how I just feel.
Right.
But that's only if you got a true friend. And
Right.
I like to say, some people are scared to tell a true friend about themselves. Why in the hell are you their true friend? Why are they confiding in you? You can't talk to them. If you are scared to tell a true friend how you truly feel, you're not a true friend.
Okay.
I feel like
I love
you
it.
got to get them feelings off the table, because they're looking for you to help them through, even though they're not going to like what you got to say. A true friend that says, hey, I'm going to have to get the gumption to get it to you.
Yeah, and what Jay is talking about is calling out somebody who fits in the good Reverend Doctor's pathway tonight. Your mouth and your spirit are out of alignment.
Totally.
And Jay is talking about you need to correct some people on that path. That's an interesting answer. And so with that, we'll turn it back over to you, Brother Jeffrey.
All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to understand that there's more to being black than passports and trips and money and flossing and bottles with sparkles on them up in the club.
Right.
Whatever happened to focusing on the family? Whatever happened to building up the community? Matter of fact, who took the you out of the unity in community? You see, we got so many people that's just so focused on making sure they heal themselves, and they're so happy with themselves, and they build themselves up, and they get every little thing they want in the world. But they don't pass any of that down to the community.
Right.
What good is it if you don't leave any legacy for somebody to come along and stand upon?
Right.
We are one of the very few communities in the world that don't believe in building up community wealth. Yeah, we're getting better. Yeah, we're healing ourselves. Yeah, we're becoming more and more independent financially. But guess what we ain't doing? We ain't building enough black wealth fast enough. We're just not doing it. It's because we're popping too many damn bottles. I don't mind traveling. Hey, that's a good thing. We're experiencing the world that broadens your base. It makes you more educated, more intellectual, more astute when you have conversation with people. I get it. At the same time, can you travel around the block?
Right.
Can you go around the corner and still see people that look like you, who are as affluent as you are, doing big things like you do? So what I need you to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I need you to focus on all that wealth, all that positivity, all that power and mental wealth and health that you're building. And I need you to direct that to your community. Not necessarily the one that you live up in right now, but the one that you came from, the one you grew up in.
Right.
The one that's still there waiting on you to get back to. And that's all I got.
Ah, man.
That's all they got. What?
You dropped a heavy load on me that time, bro. Because you took me back to Kimbrell Avenue, the street I grew up on.
Okay.
And there's a lot of work need to be done in that community, in that neighborhood. And many others that I grew up in. But Again, we don't talk enough about building community. And Brother Jeffrey is just challenging everyone to take your wealth. You know, people are living pretty good nowadays. People are living pretty decent nowadays. Take some of that wealth and take some of your positivity and pour it back into your community. You never know how sharing your story with a young person could change their lives. You never know how your story can change a young person's life that will change our world and that will just do amazing things in our world. One person can make a difference, right? We've had too many one people to make a difference, right? All the way from Jesus Christ to Muhammad Ali and Dr. King, one person can make a difference, and you can be that one person. And your story ain't got to be broadcast on CNN. It might just be heard down at the community center. It might be heard down at your church. We talked last week about living beyond yourself, doing something bigger than yourself. Live for a purpose greater than you are, and you'll find yourself pouring into the community. That's how you do it. And I thank you so much, Brother Jeffrey, for bringing that to the table, man.
I like to say both
powerful.
Did y'all thing. Made me remember Nipsey.
Yeah.
A rapper that killed young in his prime, but he was doing great things.
Yeah.
And I'm honored to be able to hear some of his music, but understand his struggle and what he was trying to do. These are the things that we're doing.
Yeah.
Started the show, and again, Jeffrey has his own show. And we all been out here trying to inspire, but it's not just about us. It's about going back, leaving a legacy and looking past what we went through. It's not about blaming. It's not about crying. It's about getting past.
Right.
And I like to say he was showing us a way of getting back to owning our own.
Right.
Back to doing something that's just not about working for somebody, hustling in a positive way. That hustle is always within all of us. We just got to find ways to fine tune and find out what you love to do.
There you go.
And get it done.
There you go. There you go. So we appreciate you so much, Brother Jeffrey. Any parting words for us tonight, sir?
Oh man, just real brief. If you can do something, what you waiting for?
Oh, okay, Nike.
Woo,
Let's just do it.
I like that. If you could do something, what you waiting for?
Let's do it. I like it, man. I like it.
Thank you so much, man. You inspire us every week, man. We thank you so much.
All right, y'all take it easy.
All right, all right. And it is time for us to take another break. I'm just loving these messages, man. I love this show. I love these messages. It's just such powerful information if you just take time to internalize it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you folks stay tuned. Going into the second half of the show, Jay and I will really go in on the subject, give our own opinions, and it can get a little testy and a little fun in here. So y'all stay tuned. Craftmatic and Smooth Jay will be right back with more Bar Talk with Jay. But after this. Not about a judgmental show. This is about bringing inspiration. Yes, absolutely. Inspiration. Is a great way to say it, Jay.
Y'all make me feel funny up in here, boy. Y'all be calling a brother out. Jamal did his thing, and then Jeffrey did his, and we got Jamal back. All right. One of the things we'll do is bring him back because again, he had some things he was chopping up, and we wanted to make sure we got his last points in. So we're gonna get back with Jamal. And we're gonna have some fun because me and Craftmatic gotta go into this. But Jamal, can you get back to the last statement you were saying? Unfortunately, you was breaking up.
Oh, my fault, man. I just feel like, taking it back old school, having the confidence is major approach. I think you can find love on the book. I mean, it does give you the opportunity to be a little bit more candid with a brand new person. It does allow you to focus more on the conversation rather than the lust of it. I just think at the end of the day, the conversation is going to be a major point. Whether you're doing it face up or whether you're doing it on the book, the conversation may be the very thing that leads you to a long-lasting relationship. So enjoy the journey with the person.
Okay.
As opposed to the destination.
Yeah, and very well put, very well spoken, man. You just really, I love your vernacular toward sharing your message. Here's a question for you, man. this ultimate question: could you have a real interest or relationship with someone you've never met? Would you be open to, or have you ever? Listen to
How
this.
long we talking?
Would you ever consider arranged marriage?
Nope. Can't do it.
And tell us
I
why.
ain't gonna lie.
Tell us why.
Oh, I might not be attracted to you. Point blank period. And if I'm not, I'm not. We can't force that. We can't fake that. I'm sure in time some people can say, hey, long enough we can try it out. Me personally, that ain't gonna happen. I like what I like. I want to get what I like.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
Now, see, me,
Okay.
I feel like him now, but then again, I also feel like you don't even know what you're getting when you choose.
When you choose, you don't.
When you sit there and you watch a person, from dating sites, or if you met a person,
If you met a person, right?
you still got to take that time to date to understand them.
Right.
Okay. And in that process, it leads back to the next process.
Right.
And then by the time you engage her and you trying to make this next step, you still have doubts. So you still don't really know, or you're confident completely on the person that you're choosing, and you don't have all this dialogue. You don't spend all this time.
Yeah.
But I go back to arranged marriages, and these people that have none of that.
Right.
And they found ways to make it work off the bread.
And let me tell you why. They did it because they committed out front. Everything else is just what I gotta go through. It's already committed. And so what we do is we date, and every day we be like, oh no, I didn't like that. Oh yeah, I like that. I could bring that in, but I gotta push that out. So we're making the decision the whole time whether, we're gonna spend a lifetime with a person based on their daily behavior. And not based on who they are necessarily, or who they're trying to be. We're basing it on things and stuff that happen in the world. Arranged marriages just go in, and those marriages are, by the way, the most successful marriages because you commit. And matter of fact, I met a young lady who used to work at the dealership with me, and she said, "Yeah, our families, put us together, and I married him, and At first, he was just my friend. For like 2 years, he was just like my friend. And then, I started falling in love with him. And then I fell in love with him, and I was in love with him for 5 years, whatever, 6 years. And then she fell out of love with him. And she said now he's just like, Big Papa. He's just like Big Papa. And they're still staying together. They're staying together for their vows. If everyone had that level of commitment, then we find that marriages would last longer.
You also remember now, families brought them together.
Families brought them together.
So that meant the father took the interest in this young man.
Right.
And he knew what he had with his daughter.
Right.
And I'm trying to put the best with the best.
Right.
Now, a lot of times now, we are so Americanized that, you let your kids do whatever they want to do.
Right.
So we got all this freedom. They can freely choose who they want. Well, it didn't start off that way, so don't get surprised why marriages fail. Because we get all this freedom.
Right.
Okay, and freedom is a lie.
Right.
Freely say what you want to the person next to you.
Yeah.
And you can probably get arrested.
Yeah.
Especially if you're using a lot of language.
Yeah, you can't
that
do
people
freedom.
don't. So again, that freedom to say whatever, choose whatever, we're not clearly thinking.
Yeah,
We're just speaking. My whole thing is going back to looking at what that father is arranging a situation where I'm uniting a stronger family. I see that family. I see that young man. The father's good. That young man is just up and coming. But my daughter's pure. This right here is a family, and that's what marriage was based off of.
Yeah.
Uniting families where the father is taking the forethought of choosing for the daughter.
Right.
That's done change.
And the question always becomes for all those marriages, there's some fathers that didn't know what the hell they was doing. Right.
They're the ones that said, hell, I ain't do good myself.
But their daughter's gonna hang in there. Their daughter gonna follow the ritual and not gonna disturb the family ritual and, honor the code and et cetera, et cetera. But here's kind of what, I'm throwing a little curve in there. Here's what the arranged marriages suggest. Is that if you put a man and a woman together without the influence of the world pressures and societal pressures, how you should look, if you put a man and a woman together, they will coexist. and they will make things work. I don't care if you put an ugly and if the last two people on earth was an ugly man and an ugly woman, well, they might find love even in the rest of the world. But if you put them opposite, they would find one another and they would fall in love with one another. And because see, all that outer stuff really goes away once you get to know a person. All that, how beautiful you are, maybe how fun, you always want to find a woman in our life, but all that surface stuff kind of goes out the door when it's time to have a relationship with somebody. And when you start having a relationship, you don't have to put the front curtain out there. You're going to put their character in the forefront of your mind. How they treat you, how they think, how they act, and their flaws, you're just going to work with them and deal with them. That's what's happening. If you put two people together, they'll be successful. And that's what arranged marriages pretty much have proven. People commit first rather than trying to look for reasons or reasons not to marry a person.
I definitely agree with that. But one of the things I say the problem is when you get worldly. When I was able to date freely. Now, see, the more you date, the more you have that element of choice.
Right.
So
and that's not good.
I'm not right. Because again, now at this point, I wouldn't want to be stuck with somebody when I know I can choose for myself.
Right.
And that's what happens when you get this freedom.
Right.
That's people don't understand that freedom can make your judgment cloudy.
Yes.
So now, instead of me being arranged with a person that the family feels a good person for me, I want to choose. Now, I am young and I'm not making good decisions.
Right.
So I'm out here choosing knuckleheads. I'm choosing people that's close to my mindset. I'm not the maturest. So they are more mature, so it don't really work out. So I'm with one and then another and then another. Okay?
And it goes on.
But then you think about somebody trying to arrange me with somebody. Now I become judgmental.
I have no choice.
Well, I have a choice now because I'm judgmental. I dated. I don't want what you chose for me now.
Right.
Now I'm rebelling.
Right.
When I wouldn't rebel from you before. I would listen to you.
Yeah, before you was ignorant.
Well,
you didn't know your options.
Yeah. I got into my feelings, my options, thinking it's better when I should have known there's a grown person next to me that know me just as well.
Right.
And they're trying to look for my best interest long term, where I'm just looking for whatever I want to look for.
Right.
Because I'm young-minded, so we get lost. And that's what happens a lot of time in this whole conflict. You want everybody to make great decisions. You give them all this, but it's kind of hard. And if you make a decision for them, then they feel like you're overbearing.
Right.
So everybody got these judgments. And that's what I love about a strong family. They ain't listening to what the world's saying. They gonna do what's necessary. Forget the rest of that crap.
Right.
And that's where I feel like sometimes we got to get back to. I don't have a problem sitting down with my girls and they be like, yo, Dad, this is the person. We're going to have that heart-to-heart conversation when it's a person of great interest.
Yes.
Because I need to make sure your mind is looking past the degree of where you at. Because that love thing clouds that. Oh, he's this, he's that, and he makes good money. See, you stuck on stuff already, then I need to get past that. Now, how he makes his money and where is he going?
Right.
I need future plans because I need you to plan your life out.
Right.
And you ain't going to see that all the time because you're too into how good he look and how better he is than so-and-so. So-and-so done scoring you.
Right.
You got to get past. That's stepping stones. And that's what's happening right now. We are dating and we're causing a lot of unnecessary hurt.
Yeah.
And then you got to rebound.
And let me just cover kind of the cycle as I see it that's happening right now, right? So you go online, you meet somebody.
Yeah.
After a few or several or many communication, you find an opportunity to meet them in person.
Right, fine. Nice restaurant.
And because you don't pumped up the game so strong, you find yourself in the next 2 or 3 days, having relations. With this person, right?
Relations.
Having relations.
Right,
you know what I mean?
That means you had a good day. That means when you met her, you kind of liked her.
And then over a short period of time, the relations. Listen. After over a short period of time, the relations turn into a baby.
Oh, now hold on.
Somebody pregnant, right? And so here's what does happen.
Wait, so you ain't after a few relations, you done raw dogged it? You should clap yourself.
I mean, you should. You should, but listen, we ain't threw the element in of relationships that happen because somebody's whipped. And that's what I'm trying to cover here. That there's these anomalies where
if they work on their breathing technique after the first person that come along.
Now hold on, Jamal. If you got your breathing technique down, you could outlast that purple elastic that you thought was going to ever last.
Listen at the argument I'm talking about, right? You got a unattractive male with an attractive female because somebody maybe had a little interest and didn't want the world to know, and all of a sudden they got caught up somehow. Next thing you know, this real interest has turned into a lifetime relationship on somebody who they just met. And it might not be in a week, it might be the first few months, but something happened and they get caught up. Now here's somebody, really got to follow the rules and, get married or stay in a relationship or, try to make it work with daddy. And all of a sudden you done got caught up, right? So could you have a real relationship with somebody you've never met? People are getting caught up into relationships with people they've never met on all kinds of little things. I borrowed money and I can't leave now because I owe her some money.
Now you wrong for that one. Yeah, it happens. It happens, right?
It happens.
It happens.
We know it happens. Let's stop faking it. The anomalies happen, and they're happening all over the place.
Yes.
Right? They're happening all over the place. You just happen to be in town the weekend that my boyfriend, who I just broke up with, left town, and next thing you know, we started seeing one another. But I ain't realized you ain't have no credit, and you ain't have no plan for your life. I was just enjoying hanging out with you for the weekends, and we did weekends every weekend for 6 months, 8 months. Now I'm in a relationship with somebody who I really don't know.
And I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
One of the things I got to say is when I went out and I started dating, I had a preference when I got into dating. After I got divorced, I had a preference. So I had an idea of what I wanted to date.
Right.
Then after that didn't work, I started changing my preference a little bit because that person, I ain't going to say scorned me, it just didn't work. So I wanted to try something different.
Yeah.
Because that preference obviously wasn't what I really wanted. So I started trying some different things. And it's just like a lot of things that you do. It's like a formula of a failure. That didn't work, so I tried something else, and I tried something else. And then I started saying to myself, I'm being too prejudgment. I'm prejudging what I really want, and I really don't even know what I really need. Because I was too busy trying to please, and I'm out here and I'm doing things. So I sat back, and I said, forget all that. Just meet a person. Quit just talking about looks and all. Meet a person and find out what you're dealing with.
Right.
So yes, I can date a person. And date. That ain't in a relationship, date. I can get to know anybody. And I found out I have a lot of relationships that's not sexual, business relationships. I have clients I deal with all the time. I'm on the phone with them. I'm hearing them. And one of the things I always say, I always love to put a face with a name.
Right.
But I know them by name because I hear them all the time. We do business together. We do a lot of different things. So when I meet them, it's not even like that. But I just want to meet them because we have shared so much time together, handling so much business, that it'd just be nice to see them. So again, when you do this, just be respectful. The number one thing is when I met people that I did not meet online or I met whatever kind of way, when we sat down, I didn't have high expectations of where it's going to go. But I remember the conversation.
Yeah.
I picked back up on it, and it took us to a whole nother place where things grew from.
Yeah.
It wasn't about sex enough. And this is one of the things about me. I don't just meet to smash.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't get me wrong. I ain't like I have never done it.
Right.
But when I meet a person, I'm not just meeting to smash because, again, it's not just disrespectful of her. What about me?
Right.
My whole thing is, I have great value too.
Yeah.
So when I meet her, I'll be like, well, let's have a good time and see if we're going to vibe. That's hopefully will come naturally. Hopefully.
You got to be a big boy to do that. Because if she's super fine and super crazy.
She can be super fine, but guess what? If she's super fine and she's super loose.
You got to be a big boy to do that.
And she's super doing whatever.
That's right.
It's just like you. It's going to be a turnoff where, just come on home with she getting overly aggressive. And I just met you.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like at that point, it's just like what you brought in the conversation before. I feel like this might not be where I need to be.
Yeah.
Because long term, that's not what I would want.
I remember as a young man, I would realize that out in the setting or whatever, and I would be like, okay, I'm just gonna like keep her mouth shut, so I don't have to deal with no more. I don't have to know nothing else, right? I mean, I was a young man then. I was a young man then, but I remember making those decisions consciously. Like okay, let me just stay away from her until the end of the night. Yeah, we know where it's going, but I just I don't want to learn no more nonsense. Deal with no more craziness. But I tell you, one of them girls ended up rolling down a hill on the side of the house. with a dress on. Oh, she got drunk, man. You know,
Okay.
I was like, okay, Lord, I see you telling me.
Because
what to do.
I had somebody ask me, it's like, if we would have had sex the very first time we met, would you think it would have went as far? And I told her truthfully, I can't really say, because even though I approached you and we talked and we got close to like where we could, but we didn't.
Yeah.
You know, it's a respect factor. I respect the fact that she held herself in a way that I honestly can say, if it did went down, I can still see her as a person that's potential.
And listen, that
because
is so valuable.
she just didn't act out wild. She got into the motion and then she held back. So I knew she had some restraints, and she knew I'm gonna hold myself, and I like that.
Yeah.
So to me, we held each other, and we, I can say, somewhat cuddled. But we chilled. Nothing happened.
Right.
Now to your boys, man, something had that.
That's
Listen,
the greatest.
they always want to talk that crap.
Yeah.
My whole thing is, it ain't about them. It's about you. That's your relationship.
Right.
Don't feed into what they say should happen, because again, half them had jacked up relationships.
Yeah.
I don't want to follow bullshit.
Yeah.
I want to follow what is encouraging.
Yeah.
If you feel and she didn't feel right, then it shouldn't go down.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt like at that time when it did go down.
It
made sense.
You preaching. Listen, we gotta take a moment, a little station identification. So we're gonna be right back. More Bar Talk with Jay. Y'all stay with us.
I ain't know y'all gonna do it like this over this topic. I mean, again,
I know.
One of the things I gotta appreciate is the fact that everybody's willingness to be out the box when it comes to stuff like this. Again, we sit over the weekend and we contemplate what topics we gonna go over, just give y'all dialogue. This show, it might be 2 hours, but it's a lot of behind the scenes. And a lot of things go into it. Not just me, Craftmatic, Barbara, but the world. And that's why we asked y'all on Facebook to give us y'all insights, because we really want to get feedback, because we really want to involve y'all.
Yeah.
It's not just about us. This is things that's going on, and we want to make sure we touch a person in a way that they was never going to be touched if we didn't take this. And I like to say this is a challenge. So we got all these mannequin challenges and all the rest of it. I want to make a challenge to make your life better. Give me feedback. Now that comes with positive and negative.
Yeah.
And I have to be strong enough to be able to take it, and I'm strong enough to be able to do it, and that's why we do what we do.
And with that in mind, that's a great segue to just honor some of the people who are with us tonight.
Give it to them.
Rock, I want you to scroll up to where the green. To start at the bottom of the green. Right there. We got is that Bernita? We got Chris and Teresa. Mookie's Kitchen is in the house.
Mookie Kitchen!
What you cooking? Kimberly, Robin. We got Sin, Wanda, and Michael. Oh man, we got a great team of people here with us tonight. Sherman.
Hey, Sherman.
I think we've already did Julane, and so I'm glad you folks are still with us. I hope you're enjoying the discussion. I mean, this is just our input, you know, and if you got a comment or a question that might add value to this discussion, please type it in and give us an opportunity to improve our show. You know, that's what this is all about. This is about you. This is about self-development and how you basically manage yourself as it relates to a relationship, you know, getting somebody in your life. I personally would entertain an arranged marriage if I trusted the choosers. Right? So there goes back to family again. I'm going to have to go back to some people who I trust, and some people who, and see, the people who I trust, let's just say it's her family, right? That her family just has presented themselves so richly, and not money, but so confidently and so powerful and so smooth and so loving. You know, they just presented themselves as a great family. Then they know their kids, you know, 30 years of history, 40 years of history. And you know, they could just be trying to come up, but let's not think that way. They could just be wanting somebody good for their daughter, right? And I would do that, man. I would do that. It certainly would take a whole lot of work and guesswork out of trying to figure it out, number one. And it, the other side of the equation is I might come into 300 or 400 million. They got something if they try to bring me into the family, right? Perhaps, they could be trying to get what I got, the other side of the equation.
The other million.
Yeah. Meeting people is the beginning of having relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. And oftentimes we meet people who show themselves very early as undesirable. And when they show themselves as undesirable, we kick them off the stage. They are no longer a candidate in a relationship, and they most certainly are not a candidate in participating in your cookie program. Right? And so if you take too much time to wonder and question, the reality is that person right for you, or is that person right for you only in your current level of relationship? And there is such a thing, I do believe, because we've seen many of people who would date for years, and as soon as they get married, they break up. How many times have we seen that, right?
Too many.
It's common. It's almost, kind of a myth, kind of scenario going on there. Like, what happens when I marry somebody who I've known for a long time? What happens when you finally get married and you finally commit? Do you know too much to commit at that point? Do you commit on the surface, so you get married, but you don't really commit in the heart because you know they got that BS going on, and you know that if a situation come up, they might leave you stranded, or another situation come up, they might try to win favor rather than being a team player.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you know those things about people, I think that's where the beginning of breakups happen. Like, I start to know your tendencies, that, hey, you don't really care about me. All you want is what you want. You don't ever ask me what I want. You don't ever think about what I want. And now all of a sudden I'm starting to think, like, if I ever get rid of this, I ain't coming back down this road again, right? So I'm just trying to make light of how we meet people. We discover things that we don't like, and then all of a sudden they're no longer a candidate. So we find ourselves always disliking something about everybody.
Mm.
And to some degree, if your mind works that way, that's exactly what's going to happen. I think you get what you look for. If you look for something to discount him, look for something to push him out the back door. If you learn that, he spent 3 years in prison when he was 25, not a big deal, right? Now, if he just got out of prison, then, that might be something a little more to consider. But figure out what he was in prison for.
you ever think about backwards royalty? And because you think about it, if you had a dad that's a king and you're a prince, you already know you're a part of royalty.
You already know.
So you already know who's coming at you because we're already in front of you. It's different. How about backwards? As in, you don't know you of royalty. And I feel like a lot of men are not understanding their kingship and the fact that we are prince.
Right.
So we are not looking at life like that.
Right.
And I really want us to start looking at things a little differently, because I ran into my understanding of my kingship running around doing unprince-like activities.
Yes.
Dating, hoeing, you name it, soaking the royal oaks, doing things, not understanding the value of me.
Right.
And again, it's fine. And I say it's fine because it happens, but you can get back into where you need. It's called positioning.
Yeah.
It's going to be failures along the way, okay?
Yeah.
But you can learn from them. And as you learn from them, you realize the inner value in you.
Yeah.
So when I got up and I looked up and I said, well, dang, that didn't feel good. It didn't look good. And then I realized where I am. And then I understand how many people pray for me and how many people have me. My family always tried to propel me. They pushed, I failed because I wasn't ready. So I didn't understand what was all going on, but I just know my family was already enriched.
Yeah.
And it wasn't always about the money, but it was always about the intellect and the power.
Yeah.
So now when I start getting back up and I'm starting to realize my family got nothing but love. My family been rooting for me since day one. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
So now I want to start digressing bad behavior to better behavior because I have to get back on path.
And let me just try to add a little more language, because I can't do any more justice to the message. But a little more language to this. Oh God, I don't want to use my train of thought because this is powerful, right? He's talking about understanding your self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
When you start entering into relationships and you start meeting people to date and to entertain relationships, you cannot ever play down your own value. You got to stand in the gap and say, I got something to offer too. And for most of us, especially those of us who are 30s, 40s, and 50s, that we got an empire to protect. We've been putting money in 401k and Social Security for 20, 30, 40 years. We have something more to protect. And so you gotta point well taken, you gotta know that you have value. Don't just be chasing somebody for who they are or what they done or getting involved in the hype of their life, because it's just hype. It's not real, right? Even all the greatest stars, they have stomach aches, and they, what I mean? The people that paid to get the job done came late, and they got real problems just like we all do. Never get caught up in the hype without because you don't recognize your own value, right? I think that's a great point to make, man.
When I tell you, Kraft, you see people out there that make great money. All right, and I'm talking when I say great money, they making money that way surpass what you might be able to make. But I ain't gonna say way past you, because I don't know your intellect. Because if you really get down into you can make it just as well. However, they got money through inheritance and a lot of others. But the bottom line, you can create it just as well.
Yeah.
But just saying that they got it way before you, don't let that part fool you. Because a lot of times what people don't recognize, and what I've seen, I can deal with a person that does not have that. They can have hardly any, but what they do is they got the intellect on how to make things happen. Now, we both know that I can make enough where I can bring some food home, but they can make a meal.
Right.
All right?
Right.
So they got even though we got it, I know how to make things from where we at.
Yeah.
It changes the game.
Yeah.
So now I can take this money, and I got the intellect to take this money to take it to another level.
Right.
So now instead of us going out, and I don't mean to throw no daggers, I ain't got to go out and buy a car with rims and put loud music in it. Now we buying investment homes. We got stuff that people are renting, and we're making income instead of showboating.
There you go, man.
And that's what changes the game when you get the right person.
Right.
But if you get the wrong person, it's all about flaunt. Oh, you made all this, baby. We need to go here. We need to spend it. We need to do this. But then there's no residual money coming in.
Right.
A person that's really with you can look at things differently.
Yeah. Watch
That's all I'm
this.
saying.
This is just a short story of mine. I dated a young lady in college, and within 6 months, we was good friends and close and everything, and met her folks. You know what I'm saying? They loved me to death, and in about a year, they were all asking, "Hey, when y'all gonna get married, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And so her father was very prosperous. And he flew me and her down for the weekend, and wanted to take, particularly me, he wanted to take me on a tour of his businesses.
Okay.
He owned 4 McDonald's franchises, right?
Okay.
And so he's talking to me, literally, like he's about to turn this business over to us when we get married. And she was a great woman, but she wasn't Mrs. Kraft. You know what I mean? You understand the difference? She was a great woman, but she wasn't Mrs. Kraft. And I had to ask myself, okay, am I going to let this money change my mind? Because they had farms in Ocala, and you know what I'm saying? They were balling out of control. She was in college driving a 745. You know what I mean? It was 645, 745?
No, it's 745. I got the 740. That's how I know.
She was driving 745 in college, and so was I, right? So I could have got sucked in, but I didn't. I really stood on my principle, and I said, hey, she brings a lot to the table. She was highly intelligent, had a master's degree, working on a doctorate. No doubt she's already got her doctorate now, several years later. I probably could have been happy with her, but she wasn't Mrs. Kraft. and I didn't give in to the wiles of the world, right? And I may not have ever been able to do this work. Wealth and prosperity has always been my destiny, and it wasn't going to be gained or lost by being with her or by being with her family. You know what I mean? So sometimes we just have to make the hard decisions and move toward what is our greatest good. But at the same time, we got to realize that there ain't much time left.
Well,
and we don't want to be alone.
I'm just proud of you for not taking the lust of the money. A lot of times people will take the lust of the money. There's people that's gonna be listening to this story and be like, "You're a damn fool." My whole thing is don't get it twisted, because again, damn fool. If it wasn't right, it wasn't gonna last.
It wasn't gonna last.
You'd have lost a lot of respect from a person that can do more for you now. That father had more respect for the fact that you didn't take that.
Right.
Because if you didn't have that ownership, I'm telling you, it can get real foul and real quick. Because a lot of times they run for the money and they don't even understand the substance.
Right.
To go because of somebody else's wealth and you ain't got the concept to keep, you gonna probably be the downfall of that whole family. My whole thing is, know more about yourself. And that's what you had. I knew what Miss Craft should be. I knew that is ownership of a kingship. I'm not taking over somebody else's. I am my own. Now that's something that's more powerful than what half y'all know. What he just said, a lot of y'all will laugh at and be like, if it was an Oprah situation, I can give Oprah, I'll be Oprah. That's because your ass is lazy. Quit playing around and act like you don't want to work. You have it in you. She built hers, you can get yours. I don't have to look for a woman to get me mine.
Right.
A king understands his kingship.
Right.
I understand I got to put in work. And I understand she's going to help me.
Yes.
But don't you ever give up on you because of somebody else.
That's what I'm talking about, knowing your worth.
And knowing
your worth and doing what you know you have to do. That's a perfect manifestation of knowing your worth. I mean, I don't think we can describe it any differently. It's time for us to take our final break. And I want you folks to hold on. Man, I'm still deciding right here as I look through them. But y'all hold on. We're going to be right back with more Bar Talk with Jay.
Segment we forgot. One thing about Barbara, she would have said something later on. One of the things I want to do is make sure I represent Macon, Georgia in the building. One thing about Barbara, she puts a lot of time and efforts into this. So again, we want to go back and make sure we throw this in. So I'm hoping she's listening and she recognized that again, we got so much going on.
Yeah.
But we're going to get to it. And again, it's just one of the things that we get to.
And, this is probably an hour dialogue if I wanted to put it out there. But the question she asked is, what is the moral argument for the existence of God? And I'm going to cover it in a little bit differently than the moral argument. But people always are questioning the existence of God. And another word for God would be creator. The existence of a creator, the existence of our creator. And I always think about life in this way, that everything was created. And it was created by God's power. Everything was created by God's power. Everything was created by the Creator's power. And in short, we have access to that God power. And it's called prayer. If you are questioning the existence of God, I ask that you would try and simply pray. And God will meet you right there in the midst of that prayer, because He can hear you calling for Him. He can hear your presence seeking His understanding or seeking His comfort. He knows you inside and out, whether you know Him at all. And so you have been created by the great Creator. And if you decide to commune with Him, just close your eyes and pray. One way to look at it is that we know that God exists by the trails that spirit leaves behind. Spirit is your conscious attention to God. So when you pray consciously, that God will come forth and reveal that which you asked for. You know, the spirit of seeking the door, knocking the door shall be answered, and seeking you shall find. And those passages come from the idea that if I simply reach out and request some love from God, from this great creator, that he'll respond to me. And then you'll have the proof in your own testimony. Because what he's doing is putting you through a test so that you ask for his help and you'll come out with a testimony. The only way to prove God is through the realization of your prayers. It is answered prayers that you know he exists.
Wow. One of the things I can tell you as a spiritual person all day long, definitely believe in God. And one of the things I would tell you about believing in God is understanding that everything was created.
Right.
And you don't know how, who, where.
What?
And again, that is a belief, and that's what that's about.
Right.
Now, your spirituality is going to be up to you, and your religion is going to be up to your base on which you want to go with. I like to say there's a lot of material out there. Read it all.
Read it. Go
and
learn.
when you read it, you will get your own concept of how you really want to attack it.
Right.
Because my whole thing is within you. And a lot of times people go by what somebody else is saying. My pastor said. It is for your pastor to get you to read it for yourself, and you can understand it believes in you. He believed in you. He gave you power of choice. One of the things we have is power of choice. Use that in a divine way than a selfish way.
Right.
And I like to say, the only thing that makes us different between the rest of the animals is that. And I don't think we always take that near dear to our heart.
That's right.
Because again, when we do that, we'll have more compassion.
Yeah.
We get back to caring, we get back to loving, and you will understand why he did this.
Right.
He did this to make us a better human being. Now, are we taking that on ourselves in the correct way? I can't say.
Yeah.
Everybody gonna be themselves. But one of the things I want to say with this show and what we're trying to do is give you a different perception.
Yeah.
You're going to live your life however you want. Do you? But my whole thing is if we can get you to see some of your wrongs and we make some decisions, we make some corrections, it's just like business. We're going to make a plan and we're going to be successful.
Yeah. And my testimony is that my life is super smooth.
Ooh.
My life is
like
just
that.
blessed beyond measure. I kid you not, bro. My life is blessed beyond measure. And I take zero credit for all of those blessings. I know that there is a power greater than I who loves me and protects me and keeps me. And he goes before me and prepares the way so that my foot does not dash upon a stone. No weapon of the enemy shall fall against, no weapon of the enemy shall come against me. That I am greater than he that goes before me. I got these words in my head, and the words just reveal God's real measure. I can feel it. I can feel it like this table because I have prayed hundreds of times, and he'd come hundreds of times to my rescue. See, that's what we mean. I am saved. You know what I mean?
I hear.
I am delivered. I am already saved and delivered from whatever problem. Think about this, just real quick.
Okay.
Numerous passages in the Bible talk about a small army coming against a large army. And the odds are against the small army.
Right.
But they always talked about how David and Noah and all these folks reached out to the great power of the Almighty and they conquered the large army.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Those stories happen over and over and over and over again. They didn't do it. They depended on the power greater than them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we got to get to. We got to get to depending on God's great power to get us through life. Because life ain't supposed to be difficult. Life is easy when you know where your power comes from, when you know where your love and direction comes from.
Nah, I tell you all day long, I like that. For all the ones that might have been stubborn like me and stumbled
Right.
and did not pray all the time and then hit them rocks.
Right.
He never forgot about me.
Right.
He never forsake me.
You,
and even
that's a
though
testimony.
as you prayed and you didn't, and I made my mistakes, he still had
He
me.
still had you too.
He made sure I was still able to make it past all my stumbling blocks.
That's right.
He never gave up. It's when you quit,
Right.
is when he looks at you. His whole thing is, I only press you forward because of your decisions that you choose.
Right.
My whole thing is, even though I might have made some mistakes, I understand and I take ownership.
Yeah. And
Don't blame him for what I know I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the difference.
And one of the things that you will learn as you age is that you gotta start depending on his will. See, all of my wills may lead me in dark paths because I don't know what's ahead. But he knows what's ahead, and he orders my steps according to his will. And that keeps me free of having to be concerned about the path that I'm on. I'm never questioning why I am here, where I am. Those questions have all been answered for me because I depend on a power that knows greater than me what I am to achieve, knows what I am capable of, knows how he needs to develop me. Sometimes he got to put me in the fire to make me a little stronger for the next test. And you just keep fighting through life in that way. He has your back. But life ain't supposed to be easy. Life is hard work. You don't think all this earth and planets and all that stuff got built just because somebody just snapped their finger. There was hard work going to this process. And God put in the work, and now he's put in the work to you. He's put you down here expecting you to go to work. You like a little mini image of him. And that's what, that's what we're all about. It takes a while for a lot of people to get there. But that's what we know. I know that this show and what we do is a part of what God wants me to be doing every Thursday night because that's what he wants me to do, right? And I'm going to follow his lead. Part of it is accepting that, maybe I have a gift or a talent or maybe I just have a passion for something. But more importantly, I'm here because he says you need to be there because I got plans for you. I got plans for your team. I got plans for your company. I got plans. And his plans is not going to be realized if I'm over there when he told me to be over here. See, we get divine nudges all the time that tell us right from wrong and go this direction and go that direction. But if you ain't got a relationship with God, you won't sense the divine nudge and you'll spend years on the wrong path.
And that's why he just gave me one that when we was talking about the fire, he said, why are you being scared of the fire?
Right.
You're looking at when people was burned and they've been scarred. But I did not forsake them.
I did not forsake them.
They still make it through.
Right.
They might have a mark on them that they will be forever, but don't look at the outer. It's the inner that had to be changed.
Right.
You forgetting it because again you understand how metal was made.
Right.
He has to heat it up, and sometimes it's going to make it so sharp it's going to cut through everything else. There's going to be no more problems.
Right.
But you got to get right. It's your decisions will get you burned.
Right.
You're looking at the fire in the wrong way. He heats you up for something greater.
Right.
You're just not prepared.
Right.
You ain't understanding, and you scared of what you just don't know.
Yeah, and listen.
That's all that
and
is.
listen. This goes back to the very first quote that we said, which was the wound is the place where the light enters you. Right? Your mistakes and your problems and your failures and your pains, that somehow you can find a way that if you will just have a relationship with God, he'll find a way to make those mistakes your stronghold for how you got to where you are now. You see what I mean? You would look back and say, "Ooh, boy, if I hadn't slipped and fell then, I wouldn't know what I know. I'd have got burnt 10. I'd have got, somebody would have taken advantage of me 10, 20 more times. But he put me through just enough fire to get me strong. Now, I don't mind the fire. See, that's what life is all about. When you can look over your shoulder and say, you know what, that hardship, man, that sure was a great thing that happened to me. I'm sure glad that thing happened to me. That's when you're balanced now. You're not looking over your shoulder at a distressed past. You're looking over your shoulder at a fulfilled past that brought you to where you are. Now you're balanced, right? But if you look behind you and always see pain, then when you look before you, pain will still be in your eyes. You got to find a way to get comfortable with the past, and that means looking over your shoulder and see what God did. You ain't do nothing, but God did that for you and to you and through you, and he made you get up every morning and take care of that child and get him to school and feed him. He made you go to the store and buy stuff when you thought you didn't have enough money. He made you get up and go decide to do a college degree at age 45, wondering what you're going to do with a degree when you're 50 years old. He made you get up because he's building soldiers for the army of the Lord. He's making you strong so that we can make this world strong. Each one of you are a part of his kingdom, and he needs you to be strong. So don't worry about the test. You see, even the flowers in the field got to go through winter and summer and spring and fall. They got to deal with the heavy snow and the insects bothering them, but they still stand strong in the day of their heyday. That's what we got to do, man. That's what we got to do.
And then that,
Woo!
and that was the most
Preaching.
powerful thing. I love that. You
Yeah.
know, I love how you get that vibe.
Yeah.
And I'm with that vibe with you because again, when you take this walk and you not for sure, he also aligns you.
Yes, he will.
So
yes,
when
he will.
I was doing other jobs
Yeah.
and I had positions of power where I was able to run and do some things, I ran across you.
Yeah.
You was a salesman selling some things to a corporation that I just newly took over.
Yeah.
That you was normally selling to all the time. And
Yeah.
I was new in position, so I wasn't quick to buy from anybody because I'm trying to solidify
Right.
my position, cut costs because we were losing so much at that time. But I didn't want to tell you that
Right.
because you gave me this great speech and everything else. And my whole thing is you are trying to sell me something, and my whole thing is my spirit felt the passion in you.
Right.
We became friends off of business.
Right.
And then we turned around and did great things. We went to the Jay and Shay show. I brought you on there. And now you with me now. And that's where God aligns you.
He aligns you. He'll
When
put you in the right
understand Him.
path. Yes.
And you understand that you don't know it all.
Yes.
And He will align you with some people that can get you to where you need to be.
Yeah, see, and days and weeks before Jay and I met, I was meditating on the idea of something great, something brand new, doing something big. I'm ready to get involved with a new team of people. I'm ready to make something big happen for my life, Lord. What is it? How can I use my skill set, my passion for something that makes a difference? And within a week or two, he dropped me in front of Jay for a whole nother purpose. But when we recognized the alignment, that's when we begin to grow our friendship. That's when we begin to understand that we each might have something to offer one another, that we each might be able to benefit off of one another's talents or opportunities. We each might be able to help inspire one another. And here we are 2 years later doing what I think is one of the greatest works I have ever done to date. It's just such a powerful way to develop people, and God just put us here. So we're following His word. We're following His lead and His guide. You got to learn to do that. If you don't do that, you'll always be spinning your wheels in mud and in quicksand. I promise you. You'll always be moving against the current of life, right? And you'll be growing, but you'll be growing slower than the guy next to you. The next thing you know, he'll have a house and you'll still be working a part-time job, right? Got to find a way to know God. If you don't know how to know God, do this. Every shower, just talk to God through the whole shower. Every shower, talk to God through the whole shower. I don't care what you say. You might ask for something. You might tell Him something. You might say, well, show me. If you're real, just show me yourself. Whatever you say to Him. But share some quiet time each day with the Lord. And you'll find that He'll start responding to you. It'll be a yin and a yang. It'll be, it'll be matter of fact. Hey, you want to buy a new home? Next thing you know, you're meeting a realtor. Oh no! Is this coincidence? No, it's not coincidence. It's God. He's listening to you. He's listening to your desires. He wants you to have the best. He wants you to have the greatest. He wants to push you in the direction of your greatest possibility. But He's got to get you out of your own way, and He can't do that without a relationship.
And for all y'all that's not believing in what He's saying, and you're not wanting to believe in God, at least take a shower. I gotta get some humor in this. I mean, please help me. I got a big nose. I can't do it. Some of y'all out there just don't believe in showering. I don't understand why. Listen, you hurt me. My brain hurt.
Oh my God!
All I can say is a little bit of soap and water go a long way.
Hey,
you gotta get some of that dirt off you to understand what all you can be.
This is what Red Fox said.
Really?
Right? He said you might can let your armpits go 2 or 3 days, but you got to wash your ass.
Cause I can smell it. Your ass stank. I don't need you stinking.
Yeah. Listen,
God, you just stink.
we gotta go, man. We gotta go. Listen, we have so much fun on this show. We run out of time on most of the things we want to talk about. The topic for tonight: could you have a real interest, a relationship with someone you've never met? I think we all agree that we could,
yes.
But we like to get to know people. We've spoiled now. We want to know some information, and we want good information. And if we don't get good information, then we're gonna move on with our lives. But I do believe that we know for a fact that arranged marriages are the most successful marriages because you just commit. And if you find somebody there's been plenty of love relationships. They met 2 weeks later, they get married. right? And those relationships last for 30, 40, 50 years. So committing works. If you just jump in and commit and forget what, the stuff you may know, that's the case. The problem with people who
date a lot. I say it.
They know too much.
Well, the problem is you got a lot to compare.
Yeah, you got.
And that's the problem, because if I didn't have all that comparing, because you think about your first love, you didn't have much to compare with.
Yeah.
And that's what helped you stay with the one you was with, because you didn't know.
Yeah.
But when you start being promiscuous or you start cheating, then you start saying that the person that you with ain't fulfilling you.
Yeah.
Because now you're being fulfilled by somebody else, and that's what causes more problems.
And listen, it's not just cheating. It's just the fact that I can go on any one of those dating apps and I can have 10, 15 people saying nice things to me and wanting to talk to me and wanting to meet me, and I can pick any one of the 10, 20, or 30 I want to go out with or talk to, and if I tell too much information to one of them, I can get rid of them, and then I can start the new lie over here. You know what I mean? That's what's happening. People have too many options, and those options are not good, and that's what we're saying here, folks. All of those options are not good. But what you have in front of you, it might be or probably is one of the very best things that ever is for you.
Reverse royalty.
Yeah.
You got to remember, you have royalty.
I'm valuable.
Because once you realize that it's not about, it's all in front of you, it's you.
Yeah.
You're making these options available. You're doing something that's against the grain.
Right.
It feels good because I didn't have no good substance.
Yeah.
And once you realize you'll start realizing, you'll start retracting. Because again, I had to learn it. And it's one of the things I'll tell anybody. That's why I wasn't quick to commit. But I also saved a lot of hardship. Because again, I wasn't ready because I was too selfish into something that I didn't understand. Now that I understand about royalty a little bit more, and I understand about family heritage, sitting with my mother, and again, a person who loves his mother, sitting with his mother and understanding the love that she had for me and the prayers that she did and how she never forsake me, makes me understand how I will not want to forsake the next one I'm with. You have to learn these things before you commit.
That's powerful.
And if I didn't have that behind me now, I think the next marriage would have failed quickly.
Yes.
Because I had a lot of bad ways.
Yeah, that's
change your way of thinking.
Yeah.
And you would change your whole altitude.
And
it takes you to understand it.
That's profound.
Be around somebody that can help propel you. I had a loving family, a loving mother. Some of y'all might not have that. But again, I also felt a value and a great friend of craft that would guide me as well. Don't just look at the ones right next to you. He aligns you with people all around you. It's just your choice if you want to accept it.
There you go. And we are out of time, and for tonight's show, we want to thank you folks so much for being with us. For those of you who were with us online, those of you who continue to watch our podcast throughout the weeks, Valerie and Calvin, Heavenly, we thank you all for being with us tonight. Just another opportunity to share love and help you find a little bit more of yourself. We love you. We thank you for being here tonight. And this is Bar Talk with Jay. I'm Craftmatic.
And I'm Smooth Jay. Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.